Nordic Lexicon films, students ask researchers to talk about an object, book or place that represents their research. The researchers from across the Nordic countries chose a variety of things, from ski wax to an Iron Age brooch, the Åland flag, concepts like pan-nationalism, and books about the awareness of our oceans. Our journey has taken us to Helsinki to meet researchers Hassan Akintug and Peter Stadius, where we discussed topics like the flag of Åland and what it has meant to the identity of the people of Åland.
With the Faroe Islands and Denmark, there are some harshness where the Faroe Islands are divided into two groups. Is there something similar to that going on in Åland also?
The polarization is not so much on the question of separation, but rather what the relationship to Sweden and Finland should be.
And the concept of pan-nationalism seen through a Nordic cooperation perspective. What exactly is pan-nationalism?
Well, it's nationalism, but bigger than just one country. That might be a nation that is to be found within several nation states. This idea that the three Scandinavian nations are actually one. There are only three dialects or four of the same Old Norse language, which then develops into Nordic cooperation with Finland, Iceland, and so on.
It took us to Stockholm, where we met Martin Johansson to talk about ski wax and what it tells us about Nordic identity.
Tvetydigheten, ambivalensen och också mystiken är ju något som gör alla de här berättelserna intressanta. Allt det här gör ju att berättelserna fångar människor. Och som sådan utgör då berättelsen om Valla ett exempel på hur idrott kan formera föreställningar om geografi, identiteter och kanske också då relationer mellan grannar.
And to meet Norbert Goots, Susan Lindholm and Carl Marklund to discuss the Biafra crisis in 1967 and its relevance to the Nordics and humanitarianism.
It's a complicated story because this was one of the first heavily mediatized and televised post-colonial conflicts.
It's really a turning point in the history of humanitarianism.
Biafra seems to have left a mark in the collective memory in the Nordic countries.
The journey has taken us to Oslo, where we met with researcher Unn Pedersen, who spoke about an Iron Age brooch and what it can tell us about women's history.
That is really what has happened in research during the last 20 years. And it's actually been female researchers that has been essential for this, realizing that it's not only swords, like often portrayed as powerful items, but these pieces of jewelry, they are actually a powerful language and powerful items.
The journey has also taken us to Aarhus, where we have met visiting researchers Lizaveta Dubinka-Huska and Marta Shorek, who discussed topics like ocean literacy and the importance of the Baltic Sea.
What an interesting term. Could you explain a little bit what it means?
Absolutely. I will give you a short definition. It's our understanding of the ocean's influence on our lives and our influence on the ocean. It's also about our ability to communicate about this in a meaningful way, and of course about making informed choices and decisions on the basis of this knowledge.
We also learned about how literature can help make sense of complicated topics, like the critical borders between Belarus and its neighbours.
I had to explain the things that were unfolding as I was writing, and finding the proper theoretical terms was a challenge, so therefore I turned to literature.
We have also been to Copenhagen to speak to researcher Natalie Gulsrud to discuss the bicycle and its importance for the development of Copenhagen as a green city.
We can talk about waves of planning for bicycling in Copenhagen. If we go back to the beginning of the late 19th, 20th century, we can see that bicycling was taking off kind of a global north scale. So the conflicts between motorists, as cars came on the roads, and bicyclists became apparent right away. So the motorist organization, together with engineers and together with the cyclist organization, came up with a compromise and said, okay, we need to have infrastructure for everybody.
You can find these films, as well as many podcasts and articles, on nordics.info/NNL, the new Nordic Lexicon, as well as on YouTube and Instagram.